Hey everybody, Mrs. Bianchi. The dot plot shows the heights of plants in centimeters, and here they are. Which box plot represents the data? So there's a couple ways we can approach this. Writing out all these numbers and putting them in order from least to greatest, that's an option. But you would want to see first, before you do all that work, see if you can eliminate some of the choices that it can't be by first figuring out the median. So how do you find the median from a dot plot? First, count how many values there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 values. So there's 11 data points. Find the halfway mark by dividing that by 2. If we divide 11 by 2, let's throw a decimal on there. This would go in 5 times. And 2 would go into that 5 times. Now, when you have an odd number of values, we use the whole number for counting from the high end and then from the low end. And that means if we have an odd number of values, we should have that one dot that would be in the middle. So let's count from the low end. And again, we're counting 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's count from the high end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this dot, which I'm going to highlight in yellow, that's got to be the median, and the number is 2 4/10. So that should eliminate some of the choices right there. That should eliminate, see, that eliminates this one because that's not in the 2 4/10 position. It's in the 2 5/10. So this is a no. This is a potential yes. This is a no because the median is in the wrong position. Now remember, the median is that center line. Those are no's because we want it to be in the 2 4/10 position. Now, when you look at the choices that remain, you want to see if there's anything else that's kind of obvious about how we can proceed from there. Now, if there's nothing obvious, then we're going to take the blue numbers and we're going to say, or I'm sorry, things we crossed out in blue, because that would represent the lower half of the data. And how many points do we have there? If you count them up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. What's the halfway mark on that? If we take 5 and divide it by 2, that's going to go in twice, right? And if we put a decimal here, it ends up being 2 5/10. So we're going to use the 2, the whole number, to count. And I'm going to use a different color. So we're going to count, I'm just going to put X's going the other way. And we're going to count 2 from the low end and then 2 from the high end. So that means that the median of the blue data would end up being this number. So that would end up being what we call the lower quartile. Now, what value is that? That value is 2 2/10. So you know how we said this is a no and this is a no? So we want to look to see, does this match up with 2 2/10? Because this does not, right? This does not. This matches up with 2 3/10. So it looks like B is going to be the answer. But before we get too excited and pick that, we want to use that same kind of technique with the upper half of the data. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So it's the same thing where we're 5 divided by 2 gives us 2 5/10. So we count in 2 from the low end. 1, actually, let me use a different color here. Let's even use even brown. 1, 2 from the high end. 1, 2 from the low end, which means this dot is going to be the upper quartile. What number does that represent? It represents 2 8/10. So that puts us here. That's in the right position. And this dot right here is in the correct position of being 2 2/10. So everything looks good with choice B.